Hello and welcome back to another episode of Black Hair in the Big Leagues. I'm your host, Salisha Thomas, still in parentheses, Weiss. I'm trying to figure that out. But I am so excited because my guest today, y'all, I knew who she was before I knew who she was. How about that? Let's start there. Let's see here. What do we got? I know her as a writer first. She's the woman who wrote Schoolgirls, the African Mean Girls play, Nollywood. She's a playwright with Manhattan Theater Club and Atlanta Theater Company, and a resident playwright at Lincoln Center. Come on, okay? She adapted Merry Wives for the Shakespeare in the Park, which was turned into a documentary on HBO Max. Come on, casual. She wrote the upcoming Goddess musical starring Amber Iman, who has also been on this show. She's been nominated and have won numerous awards for her work. But y'all, get this, she's also an actor. She's done plenty of off-Broadway and was on Broadway OBC in The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, which I saw, okay? And let's not forget, she just recently got married to her love in New York City. Y'all, please help me welcome this Ohio State and Columbia University grad, the one, the only, Jocelyn Bioh.
Yay!
Welcome.
Thank you for that beautiful intro. Appreciate it.
I mean, it's all you. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there. I'm busy as always, but I'm doing good.
You are always busy, and I'm like so honored that you had any kind of time to write me back and to come on here today. I am truly honored, Jocelyn.
Thank you.
Okay, where do I even start? First of all, a couple of things. When I was getting my wedding dress fitted at John Christensen, and
Yes.
they were like, "Do you know Jocelyn?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, "No, I don't know Jocelyn, but I wish I knew Jocelyn." They're like, we're doing her dress and everything. They were geeking out about you and so in love with you. And I felt like I got to fall in love with you through their eyes.
Oh, bless it. That's so sweet. They were so great. I mean, as you've just now kind of probably come down from planning a wedding and all of the things is like so crazy. And
It's crazy.
I also had a dual culture wedding because my parents are from Ghana and West Africa. So I wanted to have like an acknowledgement of like a traditional Ghanaian, ceremony as well. So they were also building that dress for me as well. So I was there a lot.
You look so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much. No, it was great. They were great. Highly recommend. And yeah, and they really took good care of me, which I think is all you really want or need when you're a bride. You just want to feel like
Taken care of.
Yeah.
I think it's like such an emotional time that it's just like, let me just feel like I matter to these companies and you're not just numbers, especially in New York. I
Of
feel like
course.
everybody just wants their coin.
They do. They really
Oh my
do.
God.
And they want a lot of your coin. They want any coin you have.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, but I didn't feel like that with the John Christensen. I'm like, I
No, they were
freaking
good.
love them.
They were
And then
great.
also, just give me a second to just also geek out about you since I have you on the line. Okay. So when around the time when I moved to New York, I saw,
Oh.
girl, you are in my playbill. I went to look for it right before this interview. I was like, oh my goodness. And then also, how many times have my agents sent me in for,
Oh yes, of
and
course.
I didn't know. Like I knew I saw your name, but then your name has been thrown around the Broadway community in New York City so much, and like connecting the dots. I'm like, I've heard now. I'm like, oh, this is the same woman as this, and
Yeah.
it's all coming full circle.
It's interesting because like there's some people who, like as you mentioned before, you kind of knew me as a writer first and then retroactively realized like, oh wait, actually, engaged in her as an actress at some point too. And
Right.
it's kind of a little bit of both. I mean, I've been acting and writing kind of in tandem since college. Um, But when I went to graduate school, I got into Columbia's MFA playwriting program.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Come
And
on.
I just thought, well, let me roll the dice here. I'll put the acting on the side for a second. If I really want to figure out how to be a playwright and figure out what my voice is, let me really devote that time, to that. And when I got out of school, I was still not quite sure of my voice as a writer, if I'm being honest. It was still not where it lives now today, solidly in who I am and the people I want to write about. So I jumped back into auditioning and acting and kind of was just writing on the side while I was auditioning and in some very lucky instances getting cast and stuff. So once I left Curious Incident, which was probably the last major, no, that's a lie. But when I left Curious Incident was when
What was the last major one?
The last major show I did was in 2017, which was actually at the same time that we were rehearsing Schoolgirls. I did a play at the Signature Theater, the revival of Susan Laurie Parks's play In the Blood. We were rehearsing Schoolgirls at the same time.
That is so wild.
It was insane. I don't recommend.
Oh my gosh.
I know people think like, oh, superhero boss. I'm like, no, it was wild. Yeah, we had like a 3-week overlap where I was rehearsing all day, rewriting Schoolgirls, even in my dressing room. There's like a great picture of me in my dressing room, in my costume, waiting to go on, and I'm doing rewrites of Schoolgirls.
Oh.
It was nuts. But I really wanted to do the play, and I think it was a good moment for me to prove to people like I'm not giving up one thing for the other. I plan to do both. And I just didn't know that Schoolgirls would be
pop off.
Yeah, I didn't know. I did not anticipate that at all.
Was it hard to get it in the canon, or did it just flow?
The initial draft of Schoolgirls kind of just really came out. It didn't feel hard to write. I was so familiar with the world. I knew exactly what I wanted to write about. I went to boarding school. My mother went to the boarding school.
Did you do pageants?
I never did pageants. So no, I had no interest in pageants. I just I found the story of this, girl who, this woman that they had brought over to Ghana back in like 2011. And she was American born, but she was biracial. Her father was from Ghana. Her mother was white American. And they brought her over to Ghana to compete. Yeah, Erica Nago. Yeah, and it was like a scandal, but like only in like Ghanaian news, wasn't like a worldwide, scandal. But it just felt like, oh, what a great way to kind of like introduce how colorism, works in this world, because I knew that was a central kind of theme of my story. And being able to just do it so plainly with a pageant felt really smart.
It is smart. Because that's a hard conversation to have.
Yeah.
That needs to still happen.
Exactly. And I didn't want to have a preachy show. That the word colorism is not even in the play. Like it's not even mentioned. And I think because I wanted it to feel very obvious to people of like what implicit bias looks like, how people just assume, one thing or the other by just looking at someone, seeing someone.
Yeah.
And kind of like learning from that. But it was also important to make her character not super tragic or anything like that either, that she was more alike, that these two girls were more alike than they were different, even if they looked different. And I didn't know people would connect with the play. People I didn't expect to connect with the play. I didn't know that they would connect with it so much. It's really been quite a journey for me.
Okay, so wait, what do you like better? Acting? Writing?
I don't know. I don't know that I have an answer to that. I love both. I think one informs the other. I think my work as an actress really helps me understand how to craft character as a playwright. And I love diving into a role as an actor and seeing where the character goes and grows. And I also love creating worlds as a writer. So I don't know that I have.
Well, wait. What about this? Do you still walk into audition rooms?
I do actually.
And what
Yeah.
do they say behind the table? If I was behind the table and you walked into my audition room, I'd be like,
I think my auditions still feel very much the same. I mean, I look as someone who is on the other side of the table now.
yeah.
As we're recording this, I'm in an audition process for 3 different shows, which is so insane. Don't recommend that either.
Oh,
But
gosh.
I'm in a rehearsal process for a production of Schoolgirls happening in London. I'm in a process for Goddess, and I'm in a process for my new play that's debuting on Broadway in the fall. And
Can you say what it is?
yeah,
Or,
it's announced. It's called JaJa's African Hair Braiding.
oh, I did see about that, but I wasn't sure. It's upcoming.
Yeah, it's coming in the fall. It's happening it's previews, I think, start in September. And we open at the beginning of October at MTC on Broadway, which is very exciting for me.
It's
But I
literally
will say this,
dreams.
like, for every actor who's like, listening, like, every person who walks in, we want them to be the person. That is actually true. I know people say that. People used to say that to me all the time.
Yeah.
When I would audition, we are dying for that person to be the person. And it's sad when they're not. You kind of know by the end of their audition, it's not going to be them, but you pray every single time. Like, so, like, squint, eyes squeezed closed, like hands clasped.
Dang.
Want them to be the one. That is really true. So I think when I'm walking into an audition room now, I'm just trying to come in as prepared, um, as solid as possible, still leaving room for to get a note so I can be flexible to maybe shift how I've interpreted the character and kind of hope for the best. But
Hope for the best.
but preparation is key. So, and sometimes you see people, where you're like, wow, these are 2 fantastic actresses. How can we choose? And I think we hear that a lot, right? Like, oh, they thought you were great, but they decided to go a different way.
Being on the other side of the table, what do you do?
I mean, well, first of all, it's not always just you're also, it's usually 10 people who kind of have to agree. It's producers, it's artistic staff, it's casting, it's your director. There's a lot of people who all have to agree, and sometimes there's maybe one little thing that will tip the scale someone else's way. But everyone is also like in turmoil about it because like, both of them are great.
Right.
Both of them are great. What do we and
I'm
maybe
like so curious. Does it come down to you? Do you ever call anybody on their resume and be like, what was it like to work with them? Have you ever done that?
absolutely. Absolutely. Are you joking? Yes. I am queen. I like my nickname in all of my creative teams is Jocelyn Bioh Investigative Services. Like,
Oh, get out of here.
I do vibe checks on every single person who we are interested in before any offer goes out. I do a vibe check.
Not investigative services.
Listen, I'm on the scene.
Shut up.
Inspector Gadget has nothing on me. Okay.
Get
I
out.
am Murder She Wrote. I am everything.
Get out.
Like, but it's important, I mean, like,
Yes.
you're in a rehearsal process right now. You know what it's like. I mean, I'm not suggesting this, but you've been in several rehearsal processes.
Mhm.
I know what it's like when there's someone who comes into the room and sucks all the energy out.
Yep.
Because of whatever they're going through, their
Yep.
own insecurities, their own, ideologies, their own wanting control, whatever it is, their own, just level of trauma. There's a lot of trauma involved in this business. And they come into a room and they just suck the life out of it because of all of their stuff.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with their talent. Sometimes they're the most talented people. However, we can't do 2 things in a rehearsal process. We can't your trauma. We can't aid your anxiety and also rehearse and create a great show. We can't do both. And sometimes you got to choose one. And maybe it's about just making a great show.
Oh,
Um,
Jocelyn.
I wish more people understood that, but they don't. They don't. I
Right.
I continue to learn that they don't.
That is so wild. And especially since we all know it's a relationship
Yeah,
business.
it
And
is.
still, some people still will come in and be the bad apple and know that they're the bad apple.
Yeah, yeah. And kind of thrive on it in a weird way. And you're like, okay, what are we well, what are we supposed to do?
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just really not interested in that. Life is short, but a rehearsal can feel long, and I don't want to deal with that. And I don't know many people who do. So yes,
Good night.
I absolutely do vibe check. I don't know if everybody else does, but I am queen investigator.
I mean, I feel like it's necessary and it makes a difference when you end up in the room and everybody's like, oh, this is not a toxic environment.
Yes,
I
it
can be here forever instead of trying to get to the next show already.
does. Yeah, it really does.
Okay, can I
So
ask you something else?
yeah.
When you go into the room as Jocelyn the actor, do you change your hair to match your headshot or to kind of look like the character, or do you just say F everybody, this is what I look like today?
No, I this is what I look like today. I think maybe earlier on, maybe early career, I did try as best I could to always like making sure everything matched. Um, and I think as I started, well, first of all, getting older and just didn't have time for that.
Right.
Also had an understanding that look, I'm a Black woman. Almost every play or a project that I've been involved in, I'm wigged or something's going to happen or change with my hair. Um, I am an actor. I am a writer. I'm not a costume designer.
Come on.
I'm not a makeup designer.
Oh my
So
gosh.
if I don't have the juice in
But
terms
why are
of
you a comedian though?
I mean, if I don't have the costume to exactly fit into whatever this world is, then like, sure. If it's the character where they're like, she always wears a dress, well, sure, I'll wear a dress, you know
Okay.
what I mean? But like,
Okay.
I'm not gonna like come in full 1960s garb
Shut up. Good night.
for whatever show. I'm just not gonna do that. And
What did you
I
what
don't think
what
it's necessary to. I don't think it's necessary to. We're looking for the talent. We're looking for the talent.
Amen. What
Yeah.
did you do with your hair during the pandemic? Did you
Um,
touch it? Did you pay attention to it? Did you forget it? Like, what was
I
your
no, I've always had braids almost all my life. I've just kind of almost always had braids. Probably the longest period of time I did not have braids was when I did Curious Incident.
right?
And
Because your headshot, you've got a cute little.
yes, I did. I had my natural hair out and I think I was just trying something new at the time. And then they kind of liked the look and I was like, okay, I'll keep it. But I have almost always had braids and know how to do my own braids, know how to like, redo them or whatever. So when the pandemic happened, I was just redoing them myself. Now
You
these
did.
I
Uh-uh.
did not do. These my hair braiding lady did.
Okay, I'm
But
about to say, Jocelyn, if you did your own hair right now, you about to have a line out the door
I
of girls.
know, I know. No, but for the most part, I for the last like 3 years, I have been doing my own braids. Yeah.
Your braids look great right now. I wish I
Thank
could see you when
you.
you did them yourself because I'm like,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it looks good.
Thank you. Yeah, and I just wanted something easy. I wanted to keep something manageable. I didn't want to have to be worried about my hair. I was still, blessed and lucky enough to be working the whole pandemic. Um,
Ooh,
I
that
was,
is a
I
blessing.
Yeah, I was writing on two different TV shows.
Which shows?
One just came out. It's called Tiny Beautiful Things. It's on Hulu. It just dropped, so that's very exciting. Another one is still being filmed now, but it's actually a Star Wars series randomly.
I'm sorry, what?
I know, called The Acolyte. And I was working on that for most of the pandemic as well, on top of writing the initial draft of the Once on This Island film, which I'm adapting as well.
That is incredible.
Thank you.
I don't know if I knew. I think I heard about you doing the Ones on This Island and completely forgot that you're a part of that.
Yeah. I'm writing the script for the film adaptation.
So I
So,
just need to know, like, childhood Jocelyn. Did she have any idea that she would be making art and work that would like be bigger than her?
um, in a, I would say yes and no. Yes, because anyone in my family, any one of my friends will tell you that I loved performing. My entry point was dance. I loved dance. I thought I would be a dancer. I only gave it up like officially like in 2010. Um, and it was my entry point to musical theater, to plays, to playwriting. It was all kind of like a domino effect. So yes, I think I always knew I was going to perform.
Wow.
What I didn't know was how it was going to play out. I didn't
Right.
realize like those little stories I would make up when I was 5 about, princes and princesses in a castle and, going to a royal ball. It was always something like that. I always made up stories like that. I didn't know that that was the early form of me storytelling. And only in hindsight do I realize like, oh, I was like making up stories. And
Where are you from?
I'm born and raised in New York. I was born and
See?
raised in Washington Heights, and lived there up until only a couple years ago. And now I live in I moved downtown to Harlem. Um, but
Come on
yeah,
downtown to
I
Harlem.
know that is for people who live uptown, people who grew up uptown. I grew like my whole life was 174th and Broadway. So
That's down the street from me
um,
right now.
okay, yeah. And that was my neighborhood. And and we were also like, it's obviously a heavily, Latin neighborhood. So we were like kind of the lone, African family
Right.
in a mostly Dominican and Puerto Rican neighborhood too. So I feel like I had a very eclectic kind of upbringing as well, having like an African home and Ghanaian culture in the house. And then I would leave and go to school and be with a bunch of my Dominican friends and like, lightly speaking and understanding Spanish, even better than my own parents' native tongue. And
Wow.
going to school and going to, dance classes and stuff like that with people who were from, Inwood, Washington Heights, Harlem, all in one.
I
So I
feel
have
like
very eclectic upbringing. Yeah.
you, to me, because I'm from California and I'm like from a small town ish from
Uh-huh.
California. And whenever like I did a show in LA or, in Orange County or even in the Bay Area, if somebody was like from New York, it was always like, oh my God, like you lived in New York, like, wow, you're big time. And, I'm obviously here in New York now and I still feel that way a little bit, like, especially for people who are born and raised here in New York. I
Mhm.
feel like there's something different in your blood, and it's the way I don't know. There's just something about this city, and I I'm not surprised that do you know like you grew up around a culture of oh we're going to be successful.
And that's, I mean, I love that. I love that that's like an ideology too, that people have about New Yorkers. It's not the first time I've heard that. I've heard that before. And I think that maybe there's just like a kind of ingrained like hustle culture,
Yeah.
do. Like I didn't come from a family of means. Both my parents were like super working class. Like we were kind of always just, paycheck to paycheck, like dollar to dollar.
Right.
And so it's ironic that I grew up in a city that's like the epicenter of theater that, Broadway was just, you know, short train ride away, but I never got to see a Broadway show. I did when, some program I was in, paid for it or something like that.
And now you're literally writing Broadway.
I know. So it wasn't, I didn't have the access, to it in the way that I maybe wished I would have. It all still felt very far and foreign to me. So my world was really just about creating around the world and within the means that I had. And that's what feels like kind of wild,
Do you know what I really admire about you, like talking to you right now?
Oh,
Well, it's, we're talking about all these things that you've done and that you're doing, and it feels like empowering to watch you just really like own it and to sit in like, yeah, and not in a cocky way at all. Just
oh,
very like you own who you are and your contribution to the industry. And I think that is so powerful as a Black person, as a woman. Like, and for me, it's so easy to be like, oh, no, no, I didn't, I'm okay. Oh, yeah, this. Like, and, like, how different that must feel to be like, no, yeah, no, yes, this is who I am. And
well, I thank you for saying that. I do appreciate that. I think I would maybe feel differently about it if I didn't have an understanding of how hard I worked.
yeah,
Nothing about my journey, nothing about any of the things that people would deem, any of my accomplishments that people would deem as like markers of success came easy. It feels maybe like it did because, nobody's paying attention to like the rough edges that you're going through over years and years.
right. Speak
Nobody's
on it.
nobody's clued into the, nearly 4 years where I was unemployed and wasn't working as an actor or a writer. I was just
Mm,
doing coat check and handing out flyers in Times Square and working
oh,
at maitre d at every restaurant, you can think of. No one's clued into those
right.
years, they only are clued into like when I booked the thing or when
Mhm.
a play got, produced somewhere. Um, but I'm acutely aware of what that journey was, how hard I've worked, how hard I continue to work. The hustle changes, even when you have perceived success. It just changes and shifts in a different way. There's plenty of things that I want to do and I'm trying to do career wise that are still really tough, are still really hard for me to break through.
Wait,
And
that's kind of exciting though, because you've already done
yeah,
so much. So you're like, you have something else to work towards.
it
Like,
was, it was so odd. Like, I mean, for years and years, like when I got out of grad school, my whole goal was like Broadway. I had a vision board. I was like, I'm going to get to Broadway, particularly as an actor. I was like, I want to be on Broadway. I got to get to Broadway. And then when I got
got
that
there.
accomplishment, and I spent a year, it was a glorious like 14 months with Curious Incident. And when I decided to leave the show, I was like, well, now what?
Now what?
I had got this thing that I had been working for so long. Like, now what? And that was, where I really had to like lean into my faith, really ask God to like order my steps,
Mm.
let me, reveal to me what this next thing is, because I don't feel done, I'm not done. And and that's
Ooh.
where I did have to kind of take a leap on faith and really decide, like, okay, well, if I really want to try my hand at being a known writer, a known playwright, then maybe this is the time I should take to devote to that. And that's what I did. I wrote Schoolgirls when I left Curious Incident. Yeah.
And the rest is freaking history. And your story is still being written.
It's
Your
still
story.
being written. Yes. Yeah. And that's the
Okay,
part.
what about, and I know I'm going to let you go soon, but all the things that you're doing, and you found love, and just had this glorious wedding, how do you balance? How do you balance your boo and your work?
I don't know. I think when it's work time, and I'm very serious, and I set aside that time and, really carve out the 5, 6 hours I need to be on Zooms, to write scripts, to do whatever I need to do. And then when I close that laptop for the day, I, spend time with my family. I spend time with my husband. I mean, I really enjoy, being social too. Like, I enjoy going to see shows. I enjoy going out to dinner. We go to basketball games. We go to all that stuff, and I really do my best to really make sure that carved out time for me and my family and my friends is really carved out time. That I'm not like also on my phone doing work,
Mm.
um and I feel like that's important for people to get. It's you know that my work and what I do is part of my day. It's not my whole day. um
Ooh.
and I wish more people, especially in our business, would have an understanding of like our personal lives, our friendships, our family, um is super important. That what we do in
Whew.
our business is not our whole life. It's part of our life. It's the thing that, the employment that gives us the money to live the life we want to live with our friends and our family. Um,
Jocelyn,
and
that is what I needed to hear because right now I am swinging 12 roles in this show and I am underwater. And work ends when I physically can't keep my eyes open. Like when I come home at night, I'm like, I have to keep studying.
I know what I mean. Look, you're doing also like crazy work, and you're in a process right now. So of course, acknowledge, you're in a process. But when you have a day off, like maybe you take that day
I'm gonna
off,
take the
like,
day off.
to actually just be with your family, be with your friends, spend time with the people, who
Yeah.
love you, and who understand that this process is only for right now. It's not
Yes.
gonna be forever,
It's not forever. Tech
Yeah.
is not we're not in tech yet, but tech is not forever.
It is not. It feels like
It
forever.
does. It does.
It feels like forever, but then it's not. And everyone can be patient with you and know that this particular time frame is going to be nuts, and then after that it'll be fine. Um, and that's the key here. So I do my best. I can't always say I'm successful, but I do my best. And thankfully the people who know and love me understand that.
Have you always been this confident? I know that we we're just talking about other things right now, but like just as a human, have you always been confident?
Um, yes and no. Yes, in that, well, no, in that like that is an active practice. And some days you feel really great at it.
Right.
Some days you are like, nope, it's not there.
Who am I?
Yeah, exactly. I've heard too many no's in succession, and I'm feeling like,
Uh,
what am I gonna do?
mm-hmm.
But yes, in that like I know that this is what I was put on earth to do. I know this was the job, this was the intent, this is what God ordained my life to be, and I have to be confident in that gift. And
A
that
sense of purpose.
is
That's what I'm
very
hearing.
important. It's very important. If you have a talent in writing, in acting, in composing music, in directing, in creating sets and costumes, hair design, whatever it is, that is a gift. That is a gift that you have been given, that God's like, you are going to be amazing at this. Keep working at it. Keep praying for me to like help guide you through the process. Like, that's a gift. Some people don't get that gift. Some people's gift is just, you know, um, having magic with their hands and being a surgeon, or being, a great orator and they become a lawyer or something like that, or really wanting to fight for people and they become a politician. Whatever that gift is, like, acknowledge what that gift is, keep working hard at it, and understand that that is your purpose. That is what you were put on this earth to do. And so you have to be confident in your gift. If I, wanted to be a chef or something like that, I mean, I'm a decent cook.
Okay.
I'm a decent cook.
Okay.
Like if I wanted to be a chef, like I don't know that that's what I was put on earth to do. So I would be maybe not as confident about that because that's not what I was really supposed to be doing here. I know I'm supposed to be creating stories and sharing stories and uplifting Black people on stage and on screen. I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So I have to be confident in that gift.
You know what? I thank God for you. You are changing the world, and whether you realize it or not. And the gifts that you have, you are using, and you're even speaking into me right now. And it's enlightening, it's empowering, it's encouraging, it's inspiring. You are those things.
Thank you. Bless you. Thank you.
You are blessed. You have blessed me. Bless you. God bless you. I am so grateful that you set aside time to come on here today. Before I let you go, is there anything else that you're like, oh, I'm excited about this or grateful for this or anything else that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think there's, the one thing that's like super important to me right now, maybe because we're really in a process of it, but we, me and a few other people, lovely Black women who work in the business as well, kind of joined together about 4 years ago to create Black Women on Broadway.
Oh,
Which is
yeah.
an organization that like serves to host like completely free mentorship and fellowship events. And one of our things is a flagship event that we're trying to really kick up off the ground, which is an annual Black Women on Broadway Awards celebration. And it's kind of similar to like Essence, Black Women in Hollywood, except
Heck yes.
for the Broadway Black women, Broadway community. And we had our first event, we had our first celebration last year, which was a success. And we're in the midst of planning the second one, and we want that every woman from every season, every Black woman who's involved in each season has an event that they can, come to during the award season and to acknowledge their work. Of course, fundraising and doing all of that stuff takes so much time
And energy, yes.
and energy, And this year, we've been keeping track because, like, we're also just like type A queens. So we've been keeping track of every single Black woman who's been in every single show, both on and off Broadway.
That's a lot, Jocelyn.
I know, and it's nearly 400 women this year.
Oh my gosh.
And of course, we will not have the budget for, this. It's still it's still a very, it's still early. It's in inception of the event. So we will not be able to get the budget to invite all 400 women. But the goal is, of course, to be able to have, 5 years from now, we're like all, 400 or 500, 1,000, if that's how many people have been on and off Broadway that season, to be there as well. And so I just encourage people to like check out our, Instagram and our website, which are each Black Women on Broadway, and to, want to get involved and to just be aware of like the different things that we're doing. It's not just that event. We have mentorship things. We've taught workshops. We have mixers. We're doing roundtables with different people in the business. So we're getting off the ground, but I encourage people to, support the
That is
website and support
so
that.
cool.
Yeah.
And I heard about the one last year. I'm like, that looks so awesome. So, like, the way to create a community within a community, but carved out for
us. And it's about growth, and it's about growth, and it's about support. And I think more people who know about the organization and maybe have friends or people or know of like someone who would be a great sponsor for us, who would be able to, donate money or whatever the case. Like that's why I think I'm encouraging people to do that. And we also every day, highlight different Black women in different facets of the industry. These are not just actors, these are stage managers, like,
yeah, I've seen you do that.
yeah, set designers, whatever. We highlight them, nearly every day on our page, just to encourage people to think that like Black women on Broadway is not just like about actors, it's about everyone who makes up and creates New York theater. And so I just wanted to make sure I shouted that out because I'm, of course, talking to a beautiful Black woman who is on Broadway right
Come
now.
on! Finally,
And
it's been a long pandemic.
I know. And so I wanted to make sure I shared that too, because we're very passionate about it. And I'm in the thick of things right now with helping to organize this year's event. So
when is it this year?
This year it's going to be on June 5th.
Before the Tonys.
Yes, it's always going to be, we're always going to shoot to aim before the Tonys. We honor 3 women at the event every year, but it's also important that we're in community with the other women who are part of the season as well. And so again, our goal is to, like, I'm a everybody come, person. So the fact that like we're stopped by like money and fundraising is so frustrating.
Right.
But our goal is to increase. Last year we had 85,
that's great. That's great.
On and off Broadway. Our hope is to obviously increase that number. So just, pray for me that we go get some of these more sponsors so we can get a bigger venue and invite more people and continue
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you need a set of volunteer hands, I'll be around.
Bless you. Bless you. Of course. Yes, because you're going to be so free learning your 12 swing roles.
Hopefully I won't be a crazy person by then, but like I love doing stuff in the industry. I'm like, that's my favorite part about Broadway is just like being in a show so I can, I know what's going on. Okay, what are people talking about? Like it's my favorite thing. So, I mean, if I'm not crazy, I would love, if you need a volunteer. So,
of course.
Jocelyn, thank you so much. And how can people find you? How can they follow you?
I am on the socials. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter at JaJa Bioh. That is like my handle for everything. And yeah, I for the most part, I like posting funny stuff. I'm a comedian. So,
but you are though.
So yeah, everyone can find me on there.
You have really brightened my whole spirit and touched my heart. And I mean, I couldn't ask for a better day off in this moment. Thank you.
Enjoy your day off.
I will.
Enjoy it. Yes.
Thank you so much. And thank you for coming on Black Hair in the Big Leagues.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.